Star Wars Episode 9 predictions. Or as some people on the internet call them, theories. Or as other people on the internet call them, leaks. Or as I call them, shit I'm wrong about. Number 10, Kylo Ren will kill Hux. Hux is just kind of in Kylo's way, seemingly wanting power himself. I'm guessing Kylo will quickly snuff out Hux the moment Hux questions his authority. Number 9, Leia will be the only original trilogy cast member to survive the sequel trilogy. The production will use, as we know, unused scenes Carrie Fisher shot from The Force Awakens, not killing her character off, and having Leia live on forever in the Skywalker saga. Number 8, we will not see the Knights of Ren. As much as I would love to explore that side of things, as much as I would love to know what the Knights of Ren are all about, I do not think we'll see them. Mentioned? Maybe. I would even doubt that. As we know, Snoke mentions the Knights of Ren in The Force Awakens and calls Kylo the master of the Knights of Ren. I'm sure that story will be told in future comics and books. A lot of single lines of dialogue or concepts in the Star Wars movies that don't really need to be explained in the films in order to progress the story at hand are often expanded on in non-film material. Since Snoke said the single line of dialogue about the Knights of Ren, that seems to be something a lot of people want to see in the films. Oh my god, Snoke said the Knights of Ren. What are the Knights of Ren? Who are the Knights of Ren? I get it. Star Wars fans want to know everything about everything. I get it. But the catalog of backstory, links, and purpose that built both Legends and current canon took a long time, took decades. We're just living in one of those periods of creation where things are getting made, stories are getting ironed out, and the fandom's patience is being tested for what they want to know. I get it. Number 7, the Force, just like in every Star Wars movie ever made, will be further explained. Not necessarily through powers. We might see a few new powers. I mean, every single Star Wars movie gives us new powers. But I think the concept that was shown at the end of TLJ with the Broom Boy, a random person who possesses the power, will come into play. Not necessarily the Broom Boy himself, but the idea that the Force has indeed awakened. That conflict between light and dark is an endless struggle, and that balance is its ultimate goal. Maybe the moment at the end of TLJ was enough to show that idea, but I have a suspicion that it will come into further play in Episode 9, and the explanation will get deeper. Number 6, a main character will die. That's my prediction. I have no doubt that the end of Episode 9 will end in a moment of celebration, but I don't think it'll feel nearly as large-scale and triumphant as it did at the end of Return of the Jedi. That felt like the galaxy's fate was in the rebels' hands. It felt like a massive, oppressive regime was defeated. A giant government, bureaucracy, military machine was taken down. I don't think the end of this trilogy will have nearly the same satisfying feeling of liberation as the end of Return of the Jedi. That being said, I think a main character will die in Episode 9. It might be a bittersweet celebration in the end, one of lost friends, sacrifice, but at the same time winning the war, mission before self, all that stuff. If I had to guess, it will be Poe. Harrison Ford thought Han should have died at the end of Jedi, kind of a moment of sacrifice, and maybe that will happen with one of the characters in Episode 9. Number 5. I don't know where, and I don't know how, but I'd be very surprised if we did not see a little bit of Force Ghost Luke, subtly used in a similar role as Kenobi in the original trilogy. A mentor, a teacher, kind of a guide, mending things with Rey, but perhaps trying to mend things with Kylo as well. I doubt it, but maybe. As much as I loved the self-projection that Luke did at the end of TLJ, and as much as I found the Kylo and Rey connection a really interesting concept, along with the transfer of physical properties like the water on Kylo Ren's glove after he gets done talking to Rey when she's in the rain, I'd bet that those elements won't really come into play in Episode 9. I have a feeling Episode 9 will be a lot more kind of straightforward, an Empire versus Rebels type of climax. Anyway, long story short, a subtly used Force Ghost Luke. Number 4, Lando. As we know, at the end of TLJ, the remaining Resistance fighters put out kind of an all call while inside the mine of Crate. Our distress signal has been received at multiple points, but no response. They were radioing for help, but no one answered. I think this moment of attempted communication will come into play in Episode 9. Someone will answer the call and commit troops, and my daughter just woke up from a nap. I can see her wiggling around on the baby monitor. All right, let's keep going. Anyway, someone will answer that call and commit troops, and I think that person will be Lando. After the Battle of Endor and the Battle of Naboo and the liberation of Bespin, Lando went back to being a legitimate businessman. There's really not much mentioned about Lando in the canon after that, as far as I can tell. My guess is that he's a major player on Bespin, or at least has some influence, respect, and loyalty, and will have the capability of sending reinforcements in to help the Resistance. Number 3. To me, it seems like there will be a break in time story-wise between Episode 8 and 9, unlike Episode 7 and 8. But I'm gonna go against that. I'm gonna say there won't be a break in time. I'm gonna say Episode 9 will pick up right where Episode 8 ended. Distress call, frantically on the run, hoping for help, planning a comeback. Since Episode 7 and 8 were back-to-back in the timeline, I say why not continue that in the next movie? I thought it was an interesting change of pace and creative decision to do it that way in the first place, and I wouldn't mind seeing them finish off this trilogy in the same fashion. Number 2. The tattered Resistance needs a place to hide. They need to regroup and figure out what to do next. And since Rey seems to be the only one who knows that Luke was on Ahch-To, maybe she'll lead everyone to the island to seek temporary refuge. To me, this makes sense, but honestly, I'd be surprised if it actually happened. I don't think narratively the story will go back to where we've already been, but it's an idea that I can't really shake. It's kind of a good hiding spot, right? The Resistance is shattered. Why not? Number 1. Unlike Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi, Kylo Ren will not be redeemed. He will not see the error in his ways. Rey did not join up with him, therefore the petulant Kylo will stomp his feet and feel further betrayed than he already felt. No redemption, just anger, vengeance. The easy guess would be that Rey fixes her lightsaber somehow, and she ultimately kills Kylo in a duel. That just seems too obvious, right? Seems too predictable, right? Well, I'd be surprised if that didn't happen. Although, they could do some really interesting stuff now that her lightsaber is in 2 pieces. Get a little creative with it. HelloGreedo, out.